Here's why. She didn't pull away because you weren't good enough. She pulled away because somewhere in all that effort to become what you thought she wanted, she stopped seeing a real person. She saw someone performing. And you can't build genuine attraction on a performance. It has a shelf life. It cracks under pressure. And people feel it before they can even explain what's wrong. Attraction is built, not demanded. Let's be real. Nobody has ever felt drawn to someone because they were pressured into it. That's not how the human heart works. You can't guilt someone into liking you. You can't guilt trip someone into wanting to spend time with you. Desire doesn't work on command. What actually works is creating experiences, moments, feelings. When a woman consistently feels good around you, genuinely good, not performed good, something starts to shift naturally over time. She starts associating you with positive emotions. That's not manipulation. That's just how human connection forms. Think about it from your own life. The people you're most drawn to aren't the ones who demanded your attention. They're the ones who made you laugh when you needed it, the ones who made you feel heard, the ones who brought something real to the table every single time you were around them. That's what building attraction actually looks like. It's patience. It's consistency. It's showing up the same way whether she's watching closely or not paying attention at all. A lot of men make the mistake of trying too hard in short bursts. Overdoing it for a week, then burning out, that reads as performance, and people can feel the difference between someone who's performing and someone who's genuine. When you stop demanding a result and start focusing on just being a solid, present, interesting person to be around, the dynamic changes on its own. Not always, not with everyone, but far more often than any shortcut ever will. That's the core of it. Stop treating attraction like a transaction. Start treating it like something that grows when the conditions are right. Your job is to create those conditions. Nothing more, nothing less. Confidence is the foundation. Here's something most people misunderstand about confidence. They think it's about being loud, being the guy who takes up the most space in the room, talking the most, having the sharpest comeback. That's not confidence. That's performance, and people can smell the difference. Real confidence is quiet. It's the guy who doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. He walks in, he's comfortable, he's present, he's not scanning the room looking for approval. He's not adjusting his personality based on who's watching. He's just himself, fully and without apology. That kind of energy is rare, and because it's rare, it stands out. Women are especially tuned into this, not because they're looking for someone dominant or aggressive. That's a tired and outdated idea. They're drawn to emotional steadiness, to a man who doesn't crumble under pressure, who doesn't panic when things get awkward, who can sit in silence without it feeling uncomfortable. The reason confidence is so attractive comes down to one thing. It signals that you're okay on your own. You're not coming to her looking to be fixed or validated or completed. You already feel whole. And when someone feels whole, being around them feels easy. Now, here's the honest part. Confidence isn't something you either have or you don't. It's built. It comes from doing hard things and surviving them, from keeping promises to yourself, from knowing your values and actually living by them. Every time you do something that scares you a little, a new skill, a difficult conversation, showing up when it would have been easier not to, you're building it brick by brick. She doesn't fall for the confidence itself. She falls for what that confidence represents, a man who knows who he is. That's genuinely hard to find, become genuinely interesting. There's a version of interesting that most guys aim for, and it almost never works. It's the curated version, the highlight reel, dropping the right names, the right places, the right experiences into conversation at just the right moment. People can feel when someone is performing their life rather than actually living it. Genuine interest comes from somewhere different. It comes from actually caring about things, having opinions, having questions, being curious about the world in a way that isn't tied to how it makes you look. When you're passionate about something, really passionate, not just casually familiar with it, it shows in how you talk about it. Your eyes change, your pace changes, You stop thinking about whether you're coming across well and you just talk. That kind of energy is contagious. It pulls people in without any effort at all. It doesn't have to be something impressive either. It doesn't have to be climbing mountains or building companies. It can be cooking, history, a sport you play on weekends, a book you can't stop thinking about. The subject matters far less than the depth of your relationship with it. A man with genuine passions and a sense of direction is someone worth knowing. He has things to talk about, he has places he's going, he has a perspective shaped by actual experience rather than what he thinks sounds good. And here's what that creates in the dynamic. When you have a full life, you stop being available for everything all the time. Not because you're playing games, but because you genuinely have things going on. That natural space makes you more interesting to be around, not less. People want what feels alive. They want to be near someone who is actively building something, learning something, becoming something. That energy is one of the most attractive things a person can carry. Respect her no without resentment. This one is where a lot of men genuinely struggle, not because they're bad people, but because rejection stings. It hits the ego in a place that's hard to ignore. And when something hurts, the natural response is either to push back or to pull away with bitterness. Both of those responses say more about your emotional maturity than anything else you could possibly do. When a woman says she's not interested and a man handles it with genuine grace, no guilt tripping, no cold shoulder, no passive aggression, something unexpected happens. She notices, not because you're running some long game strategy, but because that kind of response is genuinely rare. Most men don't handle rejection well, so when one does, it registers. Respecting a no isn't just about what you say in that moment. It's about what you do after. Do you treat her differently now? Do you become distant or cold? Do you make things awkward in the group? All of that is resentment showing up in slow motion, and it confirms exactly why she wasn't interested in the first place. But a man who can receive a no, stay warm, stay normal, stay himself, that man demonstrates something deeply attractive. He shows that his self-worth isn't tied to her answer, that he doesn't need her validation to feel okay about who he is. That's emotional security. And emotional security is quietly one of the most compelling things a person can have. There's also something important about what this says to her about your character. It tells her you see her as a person, not a goal, that her comfort matters to you even when it doesn't benefit you directly. That kind of respect doesn't go unnoticed. It doesn't always change her mind, but it always leaves an impression worth leaving. Social proof matters. This one is less about what you say directly to her and more about everything she observes when you're not focused on impressing her. People read character through behavior, and the clearest window into someone's character isn't how they act when they're trying to make a good impression. It's how they act when they think nobody important is watching. The way you treat a waiter says everything. The way you talk about people who aren't in the room says everything. Whether you're dismissive to people you consider below you, or whether you treat everyone with the same basic level of respect, she's clocking all of it, even if she never mentions it. This isn't about performing kindness either. Performed kindness is obvious. It's the guy who's rude to the parking attendant and then suddenly warm and charming the moment she walks in. People aren't blind to that contrast. It actually makes things worse because now there's a trust issue sitting underneath everything. Real social proof comes from being genuinely good to the people around you. Your friends talk well of you not because you ask them to, but because you've actually shown up for them. Strangers feel at ease around you because you're not carrying an agenda into every interaction. When a woman sees that other people genuinely like you, not tolerate you, not put up with you, but actually enjoy being around you, it tells her something real. It tells her that her own positive feelings about you aren't just her being naive. They're being confirmed by the world around her. And there's something else here. How you speak about your past relationships matters. A man who speaks with bitterness about every woman who didn't work out signals unresolved anger. A man who speaks with maturity and fairness signals that he actually learned something. That contrast alone can shift how she sees you entirely. You can't force desire, but you can inspire it. Let's start with the honest truth. There is no formula. There is no sequence of words or actions that guarantees someone will develop feelings for you. Anyone selling you that idea is selling you something that doesn't exist. And deep down, most people already know this. They just wish it weren't true. But here's what is true. You have enormous influence over the kind of person you become. And the kind of person you become has everything to do with the quality of connections you attract into your life. Forcing desire looks like pressure, like persistence past the point of welcome, like making someone feel guilty for not feeling what you want them to feel. None of that creates attraction. It creates discomfort, and discomfort pushes people away every single time. Inspiring desire looks completely different. It looks like a man who is so genuinely engaged with his own life that being around him feels energizing. It looks like someone who makes people feel better about themselves in his presence. It looks like consistency, being the same person on a random Tuesday that you are when you're trying to make a good impression. The shift that needs to happen is moving the focus off her and back onto yourself. Not in a selfish way, in a growth way. What kind of man do you want to be? What are you building? What are you healing? What are you learning? When you pour energy into those questions, genuinely, not as a strategy, something changes in how you carry yourself. People feel it. She feels it. Desire that is inspired rather than forced comes with something that manufactured attraction never can. It's real. It lasts. It's chosen freely. And something chosen freely is always worth more than something cornered into existence. Conclusion. If you've followed everything we've talked about, you already know that this was never really about getting a specific woman to like you. That was just the door we walked through to get to something more important. This was about you. Every single point we covered, the confidence, the emotional connection, the way you handle rejection, the way you treat people, the passions you build, the desire you inspire rather than force, all of it points back to the same thing. The kind of man you are when nobody is watching. The kind of man you are when there's nothing to gain. The kind of man you're choosing to become every single day. That's what attraction responds to. Not tricks, not tactics, not a perfected version of yourself that only shows up when someone you like is in the room. Here's what most people spend their whole lives missing. The work you do on yourself doesn't just make you more attractive to someone else, it makes your own life better, fuller, more meaningful. The confidence you build carries you through hard moments. The emotional intelligence you develop makes every relationship in your life, friendships, family, everything, run deeper. So if she's not interested right now, that's okay. That's genuinely okay. Not every connection is meant to go the direction you want, but every version of yourself that you build in the process of becoming better, that stays with you. That compounds over time. Stop chasing the outcome. Start building the man, because the right person doesn't fall for your highlight reel. She falls for who you actually are when you're just living your life honestly, fully, and without apology. Do that work, not for her, for you first. Everything else tends to follow.